You've read the title, let's get straight into it. Right, so tip 1 is a bit boring, but I'd say it would be to prioritize whole single ingredient foods. So I'd say foods with no more than about 3 to 4 ingredients with them. This is because they don't have as much processing, or they haven't been through as much processing. They're going to be more nutritionally dense and they're going to be more filling. This is going to lead to you, number 1, feeling better. Number 2, it will be harder for you to actually overeat your calories for the day. Remember, we still need to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. So if you're selecting whole, minimally processed foods, they're going to be more filling for you and they're going to help you achieve a calorie deficit that much easier without necessarily having to weigh everything. Tip 2 is going to be portion control, and this is very important for controlling the amount of calories that you eat as well. The method we're going to be using is the Zimbabwe hand jive method, invented by Dr. Moji, initially used to help with diabetes patients, but it can also be applied to fitness as well to achieve a specific goal. Building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Your protein source should be about the size of a palm and a half. So 1.5 palms is going to be what your protein source is going to be. Lean 5% mince, that piece of chicken breast. Next up, your veggies, your carrots, your kale, your lettuce, your salad. You're gonna have 2 cupped hand servings of that. So if you cup your hands like this, 2 cupped servings of vegetables or fruit. Fiber is very filling, so you want to use that to advantage. Also, you need to have an abundance of micronutrients, especially when you're in a calorie deficit, just to help with recovery and general functioning of the body when you're eating slightly less calories than you would do normally. Next up, carbohydrates, you're gonna have 1 fist. So 1 fist size of carbohydrates. Sweet potatoes, normal white potatoes, rice. Remember, we want to prioritize whole single ingredient foods or foods with no more than 3 to 4 ingredients for this to work properly. Finally, for fats, because you do need some sort of healthy fat source, 1 thumb size. So for example, that can be avocado, a few nuts, a little bit of peanut butter. Ways that you can adjust it, for example, let's say you're having a slightly higher fat source of protein, for example, salmon. Salmon's a very good source of healthy fats. Then you probably won't need as much of the pure fat or primary fat source, if you get what I mean. If you're having salmon, you won't need to add oil, for example. Here's an example plate. If you're somebody who works in a factory, so you have a very labor-intensive job, for example, you're working in a warehouse, or you're somebody who regularly plays a sport, I recommend having 2 fists of a primary carb source, 2 palms of a protein, 2 thumbs of a fat source. Tip 3, plan all your snacks or don't snack at all. All your snacks should be lean protein source, have some sort of fruit, or both in them. Tip 4 would be to get your daily 8 to 15,000 steps. Reason being, walking is such an underrated form of cardio just because it allows you to actually burn a significant amount of calories in the day without being too taxing in recovery. So it won't interfere with your other training that you're doing, for example, weight training. Also, the calories that you burn in day-to-day activity is actually the second biggest portion of the calories you burn in a day. So get moving. If you work a 9 to 5, I've got videos coming up on how to get 10,000 steps when you're working from home or working from an office. So stay tuned for those videos. But generally, go for walks during your lunch breaks or before or after work. Park in the furthest possible spot. Take the stairs instead of the lifts. Common sense tactics like that. Tip 5 would be to weight train 2 to 3 times per week. Muscle is active tissue, meaning that it burns calories, even when you're at rest. So if you have more muscle, you burn more calories naturally just by existing, essentially. So don't be scared of weight training, please. You can lift weights or you could even do bodyweight exercises, for example. Also, resistance training will make your body more inclined to hold on to the muscle that you have or build new muscle when you're in a calorie deficit. Weight training can actually help minimize muscle loss when you're in a fat loss phase. And finally, tip number 6 would be to get sleep. Sleep is important for recovery, meaning that you can have better quality weight training sessions, meaning that it will be more likely to maintain or even potentially build muscle while in a calorie deficit. Also, sleep actually helps regulate hunger. If you get lack of sleep, it causes a hormonal imbalance, which can cause your ghrelin levels to be high. Ghrelin is a hormone which causes your appetite to be elevated. If you have a lack of sleep, it means that your appetite might be elevated and you'll be more likely to overconsume on calories. Be uncompromising in getting your sleep. 7 hours minimum, ideally 8+. If you get these basics right, you'll be surprised with the amount of progress that you make. Trust me. That concludes the video. Hope you found that useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your people in a bit.